the Supreme Court has dismissed a petition seeking the renaming of all cities and historical places which have reportedly been named after invaders. The petition was filed by the BJP leader Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay, who joins us on this program, who wanted a renaming commission to find out the original names of ancient historical, cultural and religious places named after barbaric foreign invaders. The Supreme Court's words were important. The judge asked the petitioner whether he would like to keep the country on the boil. Don't dig up the past, which will only create disharmony. We look at the Supreme Court order and its serious ramifications. In fact, we can bring up a couple of those quotes before I get to my panel. Don't dig up the past. Hinduism is not a religion but a way of life. There is no bigotry in Hinduism. Don't dig up the past, which will only create disharmony. We cannot have the country on the boil. Do you want to go back to the past? Fingers are being pointed at one community. Must remember, India is a secular country. We cannot wish away the invasions, but can't we move forward? So a couple of the key points mentioned by the Supreme Court. All right, let's go across now to my panel. Ashwini Upadhyay, the petitioner in this case. Shadhan Farasat also joins us. Rohan Gupta of the Congress Party. Ranbir Pathania of the BJP. Thank you all very much for being with us. Ashwini ji, do you accept what the Supreme Court has ruled in this case on your petition?
No, I am politely disagree with this order, because neither I got the opportunity to argue my case, nor it was submitted to the taken the view of the Attorney General, Solicitor General, etc.
Sir, oh God, the signal is frozen. We'll get him back. Ashwini, do we have Ashwini back? All right. Shadhan, I think the key point, and there are lots of key phrases. Do you want to keep this as a live issue and keep the country on a boil? The fact that the Supreme Court is mentioning this, this has ramifications beyond this naming business, right? What are those ramifications?
No, I think the point really which the Supreme Court is saying, and which is really a constitutional point, is that a country such as India has a very long history, thousands of years, and a lot has happened in those years. And therefore, if you're going to contest that history in the present, then all you're going to do is contest each other. It's like a family continuously at war with each other. Now, is that healthy for a country? It can't be ever. And that's the point the Supreme Court is really making. And if Mr. Upadhyay is so concerned about invaders, then really speaking, all of us North Indians, except for the tribals, the only original inhabitants of this country are the tribals, the Adivasis. All of us, you, me, everybody possibly on this panel, is really going back to, the Aryan race who were invaders from somewhere in Central Asia. So he should file a petition for all of us to leave this country. I mean, this is downright absurd. It's only a question of when we draw the line. How far back in history do we want to go? And if you want to go, if Mr. Upadhyay wants to go to, 500 years back, I can say I want to go 1,000 and 3,000 years back. Then what?
Yeah. Ranbir Singh Pathania.
So this is an artificial petition. I say it's artificial because you pick out a point in history and then you say everything before that was original. I will say I will go back 3,000 years back when Aryans came from Central Asia to India. Let's have everything be Aryan. Let's
Shadhan, 1 second.
Tribals.
Shadhan, 1 second. We've got Ashwini back. Go ahead. Sorry, we lost the line. Yes.
Yes. तो हो क्या रहा है अब महाभारत में बहुत साफ साफ लिखा हुआ है कि कृष्ण भगवान ने 5 गांव मांगा था। उसमें एक गांव था तिलप्रस्थ। एक वहां पे फरीद खान नाम का लुटेरा गया, उसने तिलप्रस्थ को फरीदाबाद बना दिया। एक लुटेरा आया, उसने गजप्रस्थ को गाजियाबाद बना दिया। अब हम महाभारत में तो हमारा लिखा हुआ है तिलप्रस्थ गजप्रस्थ, लेकिन हमको हिंदुस्तान में मिल नहीं रहा है।
तो पर महाभारत से नाम लेके कोई मतलब कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन, कोई रोड, कोई बिल्डिंग वो बनाने किसी ने मना किया? किसी ने मना नहीं किया है। एक शहर को रीनेम करने का क्या जरूरत है? और कहीं बना देंगे ना, जो भी नाम हमें चाहिए हमारे हिंदू धर्म से लेके हम बना देंगे और कहीं। But why don't we get beyond the past? Why don't we look at the future? I mean, look at what the judge has said, sir. Ashwini ji, look at what the judge has said on Hinduism. Hinduism is the greatest religion in terms of metaphysics. The heights which Hinduism have in Upanishads, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita are unequal in any system. We should be proud of that. We have so much to be... Ashwini ji, 1 point, and I will let you answer. There is so much to be proud of in our Hinduism. Why do we necessarily have to look behind our shoulder? Why? Why are we so insecure?
नहीं, विष्णु जी एक चीज बताइए, हिंदुओं को इक्वेलिटी है कि नहीं, या हिंदू यहाँ के थर्ड क्लास सिटीजन है? हिंदुओं को क्या रिलीजियस फ्रीडम नहीं है क्या? हिंदुओं को कोई हो क्या रहा है? जिन जगहों का जो चीज बाइबल में लिखी है आप जाइए अरब में मिल जाएगा, जो चीज आपका जो चीज कुरान में लिखी है आपको अरब में मिल जाएगा, लेकिन जिन स्थानों का वर्णन हमारे वेद में है, पुराण में है, भगवत गीता में है, रामायण में है, उसको अगर हम फिजिकली ढूंढ रहे हैं तो नहीं मिल रहा है, क्योंकि लुटेरों ने केवल लूटा ही नहीं, तोड़ा ही नहीं, मर्डर नहीं किया, बल्कि अपनी नेम प्लेट भी चिपका दिया। मैं आप सबसे जितने
रणबीर सिंह पठानिया, 1 second sir, these are dangerous remarks. These are dangerous remarks, and I'm sorry, I don't want this platform to be used to instigate violence.
अरे जिन लुटेरों
नहीं, ये भाषा सही नहीं है सर, प्लीज, दिस इज नेशनल टेलीविजन. What are you doing, sir? Don't incite, sir. You're a Supreme Court lawyer. Don't incite. You make your point, but don't incite. No, sir. No, sir. There is a line both you and I know it. 1 minute. Ranbir Singh Pathania, do you agree with what Ashwini has to say? Do you agree with what Ashwini has to say? And the reason I ask you this question is because recently the RSS chief has said that, look, we should not begrudge the faith of others. If others have to, right, they can worship what they want. Prime Minister has said that there must be an outreach to all communities, other religions. So when we have, this conversation on some of the words that were mentioned, does it not harm us?
Vishnu, with due respect, I don't have anything personal and never approve of anything but my learned friend Mr. Ashwini has said before this channel, nor I am in favor of the petition, nor I want to comment upon the learned court order. The learned court order, we respect the Supreme Court judgment, but what virtually irks me but irritates me, that an unnecessary fuss is being trying to be created out of renaming of some cities in some places. Though I don't subscribe to the idea Mr. Ashwini has been trying to put a project before the Honorable Supreme Court and before this learned channel also, but the unnecessary. Why we are crying wolf if in certain cases? My point is,
Ranbir, I'm interrupting you because your sound is a bit bad. I'll fix it. I'll come back to you. Rohan, I know you've been waiting patiently. Let's look at one or two more remarks of the court and then get your reaction, and I'll come back to Ranbir after that. The history of any nation cannot haunt the present and future generations to the point that succeeding generations become prisoners of the past. The golden principle of fraternity is again enshrined in our preamble, is of greatest importance. I mean, this is common sense. I mean, it's a Supreme Court judgment, but this is common sense because we have only one rule book in our country, that is the Constitution. That's what the Constitution says. Does it need to be reminded?
So this is the common. I agree with you. This is common sense, which is most uncommon during this regime. See, Supreme Court has, sent very, very strong message. They have said that Hinduism is a way of life. There is no place of bigotry, and you cannot keep country on a boil. There are a lot of current issues where the country is facing challenges where we have to work together to ensure that the people of country don't suffer and we prosper. And during this, you start digging the history, trying to find out who has made a mistake, and we will correct this mistake. Up to what level you will go? Because the more you dig, the more hatred is going to come out. We need to stop somewhere. If you want to divert issues from current issues, yes, this is a good issue. But this is what, I'm not going into politics of it, but we see this government changing name of cities every day because they want to divert attention from the core issues. And Supreme Court has given strong message to everybody who wants to avoid present in order to ensure that their mistakes are hidden and they go into history to find out solution.
Rohan, 1 second. Ranbir, the line I think is better now. The point being mentioned by the Congress is that this is being done to divert attention. There are a million things in our country which is more pressing that the government needs to look at. Why do we need to be debating this?
Vishnu, do not want to stand with due respect Mr. Ashwini in his argument before the Honorable Supreme Court as well as before this Senate channel also. My Supreme Court has not said anything. It is one thing which we welcome some years before, that Hinduism is a way of life. That's not a religion. We subscribe to it and we officially welcomed it also. But what irks me, what irritates me, this empty and baseless and issueless argument that the Bharatiya Janata Party has been trying to. There's nothing about Hindu and Muslim like it. If India wants to resurrect, if India wants to reinvent its cultural and civilizational ethos, as a country, as a society, and as a civilization in certain cases. But just I will say one example, how distortion of a history harms. You might have heard of Mehbooba Mufti. Everybody knows, but you might not have heard of Zunni Begum, the one who said, Hamla wal Khabardar, Hum Kashmiri hai tayar. You don't know about it. You know about Sheikh Abdullah. We don't know about Maqbool Sherwani. He was the man who diverted the Pakistani troops for a period of 3 years. So that is another aspect of the matter, that history has been distorted. History has been shaped the way history is virtually, it is the court of the victor, and we as vanquished, we have to peddle it. That we don't know
so
much
they're
about
two
Maharana
separate
Pratap.
arguments.
That's what I'm saying.
Ranbir, you talk about history and history being written through the eyes of the victor, and the BJP believes that a lot of the history which we studied in school textbooks is not reflective of the truth. But the argument which Ashwini made in the Supreme Court is that Hindus as a community are possibly marginalized in our own country because of what invaders did 1,000 years back, or hundreds of years back, on the basis of which towns have been renamed. So that's a separate issue which you disagree with.
Sir, what you said, the RSS chief, we subscribe to the idea that every religion has a freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of religion in the Indian state. They should believe in their own system, in their own set of rules, religious practices. They are free to do it. There's nothing like it. India for one religion, India is for all religions. India is a secular country, and we believe in mutual coexistence of each and every religion, caste, sect, creed, and color. We don't believe in marginalizing or pushing India to a wall and trying to create a limited view of the idea of India. The idea of India is not.
Ashwini ji, reply to that. This is not an India where we push communities against the wall.
अरे विष्णु जी, ये हिंदू मुस्लिम का इश्यू नहीं है, ये हिंदू मुस्लिम का झगड़ा ही नहीं है। और मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूं कि आप पूरी भारत में जितने स्थान है सबको बदल दो, तो मैं तो केवल इतना कह रहा हूं, जो 25-30 जगह है जिनका जिक्र कहीं हमारे महाभारत में है, या वाल्मीकि रामायण में है, या 18 पुराण में से किसी एक पुराण में है, उसको चेंज कर दो। आखिर भारत हिंदुओं को राइट टू रिलीजन है कि नहीं?
सब रिलीजन को राइट टू रिलीजन है सर, बात तो यही है ना।
नहीं, हिंदुओं को नहीं है।
हम इस देश में हम हिंदू होके सफर कैसे कर रहे हैं सर?
जरा सुनिए,
हम इस देश में हिंदू होके सफर कैसे कर रहे हैं सर? हमारा फेथ मेजॉरिटी फेथ है, दूसरों फेथ को भी लेट अस रिस्पेक्ट अदर रिलीजन्स आल्सो। बट अश्विनी जी, व्हाट इज द सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड टू दिस पॉइंट?
इंडिया, जो लोग भारत में रहते हैं अपने आप को फॉरेन इन्वेडर साथ क्यों जोड़ ले रहे हैं? मेरे साधारण भाई अपने आप को गोरी, गजनी, औरंगजेब साथ क्यों जोड़ लेते हैं? रोहन गुप्ता जी आखिर औरंगजेब या तुगलक के वकील क्यों बन रहे हैं?
किसी से नहीं जोड़ रहे, वो किसी से नहीं जोड़ रहे सर। वो वकील है सर, आप जैसे शदान
को देश के वकील है।
ये बताइए, गजनी गोरी की आइडेंटिटी के लिए लड़ना, गजनी गोरी की आइडेंटिटी के लिए क्यों लड़ रहे हैं?
Create a victimhood complex despite being a majority group, and majority in a country can be by religion, in some countries can be by race, can be by ethnicity. In US it is the whites, it can be something else somewhere else, right? You create a majority complex that, listen, even though we are the largest in numbers, we are the ones who are being targeted. You see, we are so helpless. And then this becomes the mechanism for targeting other communities for all kinds of violence. History, if you look at it, what happened, the biggest violence, mass violence in the history of the world have happened based on this majority complex which has been created, and it's very dangerous because what it does, it creates a false narrative that first, even though we are the majority, look at us, we are so helpless. It's a completely false narrative. And my learned friend should actually file petitions which are well researched. He files one petition every day in Supreme Court. 90% of them get dismissed. He should actually file petitions which are well researched, which are made out of really what genuine PILs were meant for, not that the first idea which comes in his mind and he tells it.
मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, इस पैनल में बैठे हुए लोग गजनी, गोरी, लोधी, तुगलक, बाबर, हुमायूं, शाहजहां के वकालत क्यों कर रहे हैं?
नहीं कर रहे सर। और अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं, फिर आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये किया है। आप प्लीज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, लेट मी कोट द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, Ashwini ji, because it answers the point that you are now raising, sir. It is a historical fact. Can you wish away invasions from history? We have been invaded several times. Have we not got other problems in our country rather than wishing away for things which happened before? और कोई काम नहीं है सर।
विष्णु जी, मैं यही तो कह रहा हूं, अरे
तो
हमारे
आपका मांग सर, आपने मांग की है,
अरे सर आप
सुप्रीम
सुनिए,
कोर्ट ने कहा है कि और कोई काम नहीं है। आप
मैं आपको बता
इसमें
रहा
तो
हूं।
जवाब दीजिए।
हाँ मैं बता रहा हूं, 3 बड़ी सीरियस बीमारियां भारत में चल रही हैं। एक है स्टॉकहोम सिंड्रोम, दूसरा है नार्सिज्म। मैं ये पूछ रहा हूं, हमारे 51 शक्तिपीठ में से एक है अपना कीर्तेश्वरी, उसको एक लुटेरा आया, उसने उसको मंदिर को तोड़ा 1470 में, उसको उसने मुर्शिदाबाद बना दिया, उसको हम रिक्लेम करना चाहते हैं। इसमें कहां से दिक्कत आ गई? हम सबकी बात नहीं कर रहे, हम तो केवल लिमिटेड, बहुत लिमिटेड 30-35 स्थान है।
Ashwini ji, you make your point very strongly. I'm out of time on this program, but let's reflect on what the Supreme Court has said, because that's the final word. None of us on this program.